Hello and welcome to More All My Children. I'm your host, Leslie Miller, coming to you every Friday from the soundstage of All My Children. Today, I'm on my way to Jane's Addiction. And this is the set of Jane's Addiction. This is where the action happens. Over here we have the bar. This is where the actors can get their coffee and indulge in some sweets. Too many calories. More All My Children is your show. We'll take you behind the scenes and all over Pine Valley in a whole new way. You'll meet the actors, the producers, and everyone who brings this soap to life. And you won't just see them. You'll get to talk to them yourselves on Skype, Twitter, Facebook. We are completely interactive, and we want to hear from you. But first, let's take a look back at All My Children throughout the years.
Here she is. From birth, life itself is miraculous.
Have you always loved me, Mom?
Yes. I'm gay.
I mean, the people that we've grown up with and grown older with in this town, it is a gift to have shared their lives.
Shut up! Don't, no! Am I?
Pregnant? Yes.
And no matter how scary the world gets, Mommy is going to be there to help you through it.
Marry me.
I'm gonna kill you! I'll kill you! Leave hands, you son of a bitch!
That was freaking unbelievable.
I'm gonna murder the bastard that killed my daughter.
Tell me I'm not dreaming. Is it really you?
It's me, baby. It's me.
And then again, there are all these amazing people that should be here in art, that deserve to be here, that have meant so much. And some of them, I'm sure, sooner or later, they're going to get around to buying a ticket home. They do. And then there are others who sadly can't, you know, but I bet my life on one thing, that if they were all here, they would remind us what a miracle this place is.
We promised you'd meet the actors, and here are two of them right now. Vincent Irizarry, Denise Taunce, and All My Children's executive producer, Ginger Smith, are getting ready to talk to us, and also to you in just a minute. But first, let's see the best moments from this week's All My Children.
You had the dream again?
Look at you! I hardly even recognize you. Oh, you're asking me to marry you now?
Is yours?
Yeah, thank you.
Let me help you out.
No, it's okay, I got it.
Listen, I'm thinking you must have missed your flight since you never met the car that I sent to pick you up. Think we could talk later?
Yeah, sure.
I'll find you.
Great. Leave now before he gets back.
Boy, it's a beautiful day outside.
Yes.
Can't stand it. You don't have to pretend with me, okay?
Okay.
I just miss him so much.
I know.
The driver I hired said he never even picked her up, never saw her.
Whoever that is, she just walked out with him.
I'm here, baby.
And for the first time in a long time, it feels like the worst is finally over.
How could a casino car be checked out in your name without you knowing about it, Zach?
Maybe you're hungry for something besides breakfast.
Stupid bitch!
I mean, if David ever found out the truth of what I did, you know what he would
What
do
did
to
you
me?
do, Kara?
I don't want him thinking you're gonna put out on the first date.
It's a blouse, not a condom.
Yeah, well, a guy like that doesn't give a shit about what a girl wears, as long as he can take it off fast.
Was it a boy? Was it a girl?
What are you... No, I'm not doing that.
Why not? I thought you of all people would be into a little experimentation.
Talking about...
Look at your mother. She's into girls.
I asked you what you did to her.
What, you trying to get into it?
So David's out of jail and Miranda's out on a date, neither of which goes too well. Actors Vincent Irizarry, a.k.a. the sexy Dr. David Hayward, Denise Taunts, our newly grown-up Miranda, and executive producer Ginger Smith are here to tell us what's really going on. Okay, Vincent, let's start with you. How does it feel to be back in David's shoes after a year-and-a-half break?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, this whole thing has been quite surreal. You know, after a year and a half, you really sort of put it to bed. You think this is not going to happen again, and you move on with your life. And I got a call from Ginger 2 months ago, just a little over 2 months ago, saying that they were back on track and we were doing this, and I was blown away. You know, it kind of felt like one of those scenes that I've played in the past where a character's been dead for 3 years, and then you open the door and he's standing in front of you, and you don't know how to react. It's like one of those moments you've never had that experience before. That's exactly how I felt doing this.
Denise, this is a role that's 5 years fast forward. What did they tell you about playing Miranda, and how does it feel to be the granddaughter of the Erica Kane?
Well, I definitely have some big shoes to fill, but when I originally signed on, Ginger gave me a backstory of my character, and of course I did research, and all the other cast members were really, really great in filling us all newbies in. But Miranda, you know, she's a good girl with an edge. She's definitely struggling with a lot, but she ultimately has a good heart. So it's been a great character to play so far. I've fallen in love with her myself.
And Ginger, can you believe that the show is back on the air? What did it take to get All My Children revived?
For me, it took a lot of phone calls, and for them, it took a lot of trust. And the biggest part was having Agnes Nixon call and say, let's do this, let's do it together. And then once we did that, we had like the trust issue. And we all kind of held hands and we said we're going to do it. So once these guys all signed on and believed in us, it was a piece of cake.
And how is this show different from the original All My Children?
I think it's a faster pace. There's certain things that will be the same. There'll be a lot of romance. There'll be a lot of family. There's going to be a lot of heart. And there's going to be a lot of generational connection. All the kids that come on the show will be connected to core members of the show, which is really important to us, but it's going to move faster. And take stories from the headlines, basically, but still keep our core values. That's very, very important to us.
And Vincent, you are one of the core cast members playing Dr. David Hayward.
Okay.
Right out of prison. Did prison reform you, or did it make you worse?
Honestly, I don't think anything will fully reform Dr. David Hayward. I mean, this guy has his own set of ethics, his own worldview, you know, and I think that he holds true to his mission. When he came to Pine Valley, he holds up a mirror to the people of Pine Valley to show them their own hypocrisy. That's what he seems to be. That's his everyday mission. Because they support one another no matter what they do. But then my character does something, he's like the scum of the earth. How dare he do that? And then a year later, somebody's doing the exact same thing. So he's sort of a trendsetter, I guess you might say, in that way. So.
Denise, we see such great chemistry between Miranda and AJ. But does Miranda not get that AJ's really into her, or is she just sort of trying to avoid it?
I think at this point, I have no idea. You know, he's such a good friend to me, and we've grown up together. We were born on the same day, raised together. Just the thought of that hasn't even occurred in my head yet.
Yeah, but don't hurt my grandson, okay? No matter what you do, don't hurt him.
I will try.
He's been through enough.
He has. He definitely has.
Ginger, what can you tell us about what's going to happen on All My Children? What can you reveal?
There'll be a lot of romance. There'll be some surprise core characters that are coming back that I'm not allowed to tell you about, but they will be returning. And there will be some revenge exacted by certain people in our city.
All the elements that we love to watch. All right, thank you. If you'll stick around, still ahead, we want to hear from you. Vincent, Denise, and Ginger will answer your questions. And are you like David and Kara with a love so hot it burns? Or maybe are Miranda and AJ friends with no benefits? Let's see if we can help you fix what's broken before it breaks your heart.
We are the love, we are the love we give.
Excuse me, getting dressed.
Please, me, naked in the pool since we've had floaties.
Miranda!
Oh, come on. It's not like I haven't seen it before.
That's some steamy interaction between friends. Welcome back to More All My Children. I'm here with actors Vincent Irizarry and Denise Taunts, and the show's executive producer, Ginger Smith. Also, a couple of cameramen, a stage manager, a set designer, the audio guys, props. It takes a lot of people to put on a show for you. Check out what needs to happen behind the scenes in order to bring you all the action in Pine Valley.
We're getting ready to tape our first scene. Yay!
All right, we have speed. Everybody, here we come.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Day 1.
Welcome back to Pine Valley.
I have worked with solid, wonderful actors, and you just come in and everybody does the best job that they can do.
You're looking at history that's going to be made right here.
Well, the craziness, I think, began probably 6 weeks ago when I was told I would have to build sets. And at that point, I had no writers and I had no actors.
So this will be a rehearsal, folks. I'm Penny Bergman, and I am the stage manager of All My Children. Quiet, yes, we are rolling. Quiet on the floor, please. Quiet. Very quiet. So all that noise back there, please stop. Thank you.
I'm the supervisor producer at All My Children.
Director of photography.
I'm the art director.
Production designer.
Stories happening and the actors are there and the directors are there, and that's when it all becomes really fun and exciting. This is really happening and really fast.
I think everybody here knows how to do that, make good, quick decisions.
You want to be well rehearsed, so when you go in, you're doing your job.
We've gone through births, divorces, weddings, you name it.
For the foreground, see the beautiful patio. He comes right here.
Looking at history that's going to be made right here.
It really is like returning from the dead.
Who would have thought it?
Yeah,
Come on,
baby. It's good to see you, kiddo.
Portland's Manor.
The manor.
Very cool, very cool.
So we've got actors, writers, directors, costume designers, cameras, crew, and most important, you. It's now your turn to chat with Vincent, Denise, and Ginger. First, we have a question from Penelope in Washington, D.C. for Denise. She is joining us via Skype. Hi, Penelope. Thanks for joining us. How long have you been a loyal All My Children fan?
Hi, thanks for having me. I've been a fan for years, and I'm excited that it's coming back. And I actually wanted to ask Denise a question. I wanted to know what it's like coming on board as a new actress amongst a cast that's been working together for years.
You know, originally coming on, I thought it was going to be a little bit intimidating being among such talented and people that have been together for so long, but it's been such a great experience so far. They've really taken us in, and you know, they're giving us pointers on set. I remember on the first day, actually, Eden, who plays my mother, I've had a lot of scenes with her, and she came to my dressing room and she was like, "Hey, do you want to go over the scenes together?" I just thought it was just a sweet gesture, and I mean, already, just over a couple of weeks, we've become so much of a family. So I've really enjoyed it so far, and they're being very accommodating and very sweet.
Thank you, Penelope, for your question. And Ginger, it's an interesting question. How do you notice the chemistry between the new cast members and the cast members who have been around for a while?
Well, they have embraced all the new cast members. That's been really important to the people who have been here, whether it's staff, cast, directors. Everybody makes it feel like a family. So we wanted all the kids to feel comfortable, all the new actors to come on to feel part of something, because the days are long.
It's so important that everybody understand that these young storylines that are there, they're so important to the continuation of these shows. These shows have lasted for 40 years, 50 years, 72 years, Guiding Light, because they successfully were able to bring in a new generation of viewers time and time again. And that is so important. I came in as a young actor on Guiding Light many years ago, like Denise is right now. And those storylines are so important to continue to propel these stories further, because we'd like to be doing this for another 40 years. That's what it's about.
There you go, Denise. This will be your career for years and years to come.
There you go,
Look
sweetie.
forward to it.
A good one to have.
We have another viewer question. This one is from Gina in Nashua, New Hampshire for Dr. David. She is wondering, where is David and Kara's baby?
I think David would like to know where David and Kara's baby is right now. You know, I think the audience understands that Kara is holding back the truth, what happened with the baby. So David is sort of trying to figure out what really happened. At this point, it hasn't been revealed, so I can't really answer fully. I know what happened, but I can't really answer fully.
You know who could answer fully is
there's no way.
Ginger.
Yeah, there's no way.
way.
She has
No
all the
reveal
answers.
from
No
Ginger.
reveal.
on that one. Vincent, I have a question for you. Does he still love Kara, or is this all about revenge right now?
I think that certainly he has very strong feelings for Kara. I mean, he was in jail for 5 years, and he was hoping that she would at least come to visit him at least once during that time. He felt that they had something very special. But at this point, because of the way things are being established between the relationship with the characters, I don't know if he can allow himself to feel love for her at this time, because he's going through some pretty dramatic things with her. I'm trying not to reveal too much. I mean, that's really that's the most difficult part. It's so hard.
Ginger's here to make sure you don't reveal.
No, she's like looking over at me.
Wait till I go.
Denise, I want to go back to the chemistry between you and AJ. I mean, we've seen some pretty steamy scenes, and you guys are like friends. That's, you know, it's not every day you see that between friends in a platonic relationship. What does Miranda think about this?
You know, I think it's a comfortable, it's comfortable for her. She's grown up with AJ, and it's just normal. It's how they interact. I mean, I think up until this point, neither of them has really thought anything of it. But yeah, so far, I think everything's strictly, you know, friendship, but there might be something else on the horizon.
Ginger, tell us why the show jumped ahead 5 years in time.
I felt we could jumpstart and tell new stories. It was great to acknowledge the old stories and pay a little homage. And certainly we had to nod to certain things in terms of how the show ended. But it gave us the opportunity to age the kids a little bit so we could tell contemporary stories with them and take the next generation forward. And also tell some exciting stories for some of our other cast members. But we wanted to continue the tradition of All My Children. And I think it kind of opened the canvas. We could still acknowledge our history, nod to our tradition, but continue on in a more contemporary way, and that was very important.
And I think so also, in so doing that, you make those characters so much more vital.
Yeah.
Those younger characters, they really were sort of like set decoration, you know, for the scenes for the most part when they're that young.
Right.
But now they're really vital and integral to the storylines, and that's important. So everybody that's on camera has some value to the story.
And talking about the storylines, one question that viewers have for you, Vincent, is what does David think should happen to JR after killing Marissa?
Oh, I think he should be drawn and quartered. What do you think? Of course. What else is he going to say? He wants his revenge. If there's anybody that he wants revenge with, it's with JR. So, yes, he definitely wants revenge, and he also spent 5 years in jail because he tried to kill JR at that very moment when this happened at the gunshot. But unfortunately, Dr. David isn't as good an aim as he is a world-renowned cardiologist.
World-renowned.
So, yeah, he's world-renowned. He's not just your general practitioner, by the way. I just want to make sure everybody understands that, world-renowned. So...
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ginger. She's got to run. She has a show to produce. But Vincent and Denise are sticking around to meet the romance expert who will help keep the fire burning in your own relationship. So don't go away.
We are the love, we are the love we give. The sun will fall, the moon will rise.
Okay, that was pretty hot. But it was also before David got sent up the river. A question for Amy Laurent, author of 8 Weeks to Everlasting. Amy, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
A question for you. How can a couple keep their passion alive when one of them is away?
You know, I think that a little space and time to allow you to miss that person is actually good. But it is important to stay in touch, keep communication, leave a little cute note inside, their briefcase or their luggage when they go. And you know what? Every now and then you can do a small gesture that says, you know what? I miss you. Send them something. Call them to just see how their day was.
Let them know that you're thinking about them.
There's also Skype.
Yes.
I mean, that's another way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, what do you do if somebody's in prison for 5 years?
Then I would maybe call it off. I don't know about that. I don't know.
Depends what he's in prison for.
Yes. Yes.
True. This week we saw Jesse and Angie having sex in the living room. How do you feel about couples having sex in other parts of the house?
I think it's terrific. I mean, the quickest way that you can spice up your relationship is to have an intimate moment in another room besides the bedroom. Change stuff up. I mean, people in the same bed, in the same position, that can get a little stale, right?
Yeah, but up against the counter can be a little uncomfortable, too.
Well, you got to be strategic, but the point is to do it in another room. Keep it interesting.
True.
And this is when a relationship has been going on for a while, a long-term relationship. You want to keep the spice going.
Yes.
So, for example, Brooke and Adam have been married, divorced, planning to remarry. How do you keep it interesting when it's such a long relationship?
Right. You have to make sure to change up your dates. So you don't want to always do the mainstay of dinner and a movie. Do something fun that both of you haven't tried. Go salsa dancing. Try doing something that your partner likes, but maybe not necessarily as your favorite activity, but show that you can be a team player. Hey, I'm going to go to that football game with you. I'm going to, because how many times have we made our partners sit through Bridget Jones's Diary?
Right. It's about compromise.
It's about compromise, partnership, be a team player, change up the dates. We get in this rut where we start nagging our partner all of the time, and then we have to step back and say, you know what? When he's doing something right, or if, you think he looks sexy today, tell him. If you think he did a great job helping you clean up the kitchen after dinner, tell him.
And don't be afraid to initiate the romance.
Oh, that's a big one. Right. It's a big one because, I want women to think, how would you feel if you were always the one to initiate an intimate moment? And then you start feeling like you're a bother. You always have to ask that person. It's a chore for them. So imagine how that feels. It doesn't feel very good. So when you're in a relationship, women need to remember, even if you don't feel like it all the time, you really have to make an effort every now and then for you to make the move. Right. You initiate.
Amy Lauren, thank you so much for joining us. Great to see you. Maybe you could stop by Pine Valley and offer your advice to some of the characters.
Might need it.
Okay. Yeah, they need it. We'll be right back.
We are the love, we are the love we give.
I want to thank Amy, Denise, and Vincent for joining us today. And thank you to our audience for submitting your questions. Have an opinion on anything we've talked about today or anything you'd like to see us talk about next time? Email us at moreamc@theonlinenetwork.com. Connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. And make sure you tune in every Friday for all the behind-the-scenes action from More All My Children and more One Life to Live, too. We'll see you next week.
We are